I was in the middle of cooking dinner for myself when I heard a loud knock on the front door. I was a bit taken aback since it was a very stormy night and I barely knew anyone in this town. Besides, it was almost midnight, so who could it be at this hour? I was drifting away in my thoughts when knocks came again. This time it was just louder. Cautiously, I took off my apron, shelved the kitchen knife, and walked towards the front door. "Hey, who is it?" I inquired, but there was no answer. I waited for a moment, but I heard nothing. Except for the loud howls from the wind and occasional thunder, I didn't hear anyone. I stood there, hesitating for a moment, my hand trembling as I reached for the doorknob. The storm outside raged on, rain lashing against the windows, and the darkness seemed to press in from all sides. I couldn't see anyone through the peephole, and the unease in my gut grew with each passing second. Once more, I called out, my voice a little more forceful this time. "I know it's late and it's a terrible night, but you really should identify yourself." This time there was a response, but it was not what I expected. A soft, eerie whisper carried through the door, barely audible above the howling wind.
"Let me in,"
it pleaded, the voice filled with desperation. As a chill ran down my spine, I hesitated for a moment. The voice didn't sound quite right, as if it was mimicking human speech. It was a gut-wrenching imitation, like someone who had forgotten what it meant to be human. Summoning every ounce of courage I had left, I said, "Who are you, and what do you want?" The whisper grew darker, more sinister.
"I hunger,"
it replied, the words oozing with malevolence. My heart pounded in my chest as dread washed over me. I felt a sudden urge to slam the door shut and lock myself in. The voice, however, became more insistent, more demanding.
"Let me in. I need to feed."
Panic set in, and I realized this was no ordinary visitor. It was something else, something otherworldly, and it craved something unspeakable. I took a step back, my mind racing for a way out of this nightmare. The entity on the other side of the door grew impatient, and its whisper turned into a chilling, guttural growl. The door began to rattle violently, as if something monstrous was trying to force its way in. In sheer terror, I fumbled for my phone, dialing 911.
What's the emergency?
The operator's voice offered a lifeline of sanity as I desperately explained the situation. She assured me that help was on the way and told me to stay on the line. As I clung to the phone, the door suddenly burst open with a deafening crash. The dark, shapeless presence rushed into the room, and I caught only a fleeting glimpse of something nightmarish before the line went dead. I was never able to explain the horrors that unfolded that night. The police arrived to find my home in shambles, but the sinister entity was nowhere to be seen. To this day, I live in fear, haunted by the memory of that night and the malevolent force that lurks just beyond the door, waiting for its chance to return and feed on my fear once more.